Taking the ice, the Idaho Vandals. Make some noise!
Friends and family, welcome to Eastern Washington University for this Sunday matinee matchup, the final game of the Eagles Nest Showcase here in Cheney, Washington. It'll be the host, Eastern Washington, taking on the Vandals of the University of Idaho. Both teams undefeated up to this point, a de facto Showcase championship game here on a Sunday afternoon. My name is Tyler Pisani, joined as always by Gary Allen. And Gary, this is game number 8. You've been at the 7 previous to this. You've seen both of these teams play multiple games. What are you expecting from these two squads heading into today's matchup?
Well, to start off, I'm not surprised these two are unbeaten. They kind of seem to rise to the top. I like how he said de facto championship because actually it is. Both teams are unbeaten. They split earlier this year. What better way do you want to end this Eagles Nest showcase than having the two unbeaten teams here? If what I would suggest for EWU is just pick up, play like they had the last 2 games because Andrew Wehausen for the Vandals is a tough netminder, just like Carew is. So they're going to have to figure out where they want to shoot on him because he's a talented player. Idaho, they're just stout. I've been impressed with them since I saw them when they split with the Eagles and this so far in this tournament. So this should be a good game.
Well, we did talk about that yesterday. They were up here in September, split the series. Eagles winning on Friday, the Vandals winning on Saturday night. It's actually Eastern Washington's first win of the year when the Vandals were up here. We're taking a quick look at the starters for the Vandals. At right wing, Roundtree. Left wing, Hagenbaugh. And at center, Oliver Keefe. On defense, Ian Gregory and Benton Wilson on the blue line for the Vandals. And as you mentioned, Gary, Andrew Wehausen in net for the team from Moscow. From Eastern Washington, their starters tonight, Frank Flood, Joel Lusk, and Sam Thompson across the top. Ryan Carew and Trenton Wells across the back, sticking with the same starting squad that they've had in every game so far this weekend, and it's worked out for them. An 8-2 win on Friday night over Utah Valley, and last night a 4-0 win over the University of Wyoming. Again, a big thank you to both of those teams for making it out, coming up here to Cheney and taking part in the showcase. Always great to see teams that we don't typically get to see during the regular season out here.
Oh, that's why I love these tournaments that Eastern puts on because you're right. You get to see teams that you see once a year, see how they're developing, and so it was very exciting. Last night's game with the Eags and Cowboys, that was a heck of a hockey game. Extremely intense. It was like they were bitter rivals. That was a great hockey game.
And we saw some more flashes of brilliance from this top line here. Isaac Hood, Frank Flood, Cole Best. I guess Frank Flood actually on the second line. But these top 2 lines for Eastern Washington have really kind of come into their own this weekend. We saw flashes of it at homecoming, but this weekend they really seem to all be clicking.
Well, I think what also is they have 3 lines now, and actually the third line you don't lose anything kicking them in. So that's a luxury that they didn't have earlier in the year. They were still trying to figure out the lines. I think they got that set now, so they could just build on it for the rest of this year.
And here comes Hood looking to toe drag through the middle of the defense. But Jekyll there broke up that play in the middle of the zone. Is back on the other side of the ice now. On the stick of Eastern's Casey Young. He goes back behind his own net, plays a pass off the legs of the official in the corner. And Eastern finally able to get it out of their zone all the way back into the Idaho end for Adam Paulson.
But I tell you, Tyler, I have been impressed with the Eagles over this last month. They've made major headway. You got to salute the coaches, Brad Baker, Jay Oyen, and Joey Porkel. They're finally getting the team into their system. The players are starting to believe in it. You can see it in their play. They've done really well. The only thing I would like to see a little bit going in toward that Pac-8 tournament, and this is kind of a bit old school, but I like to see a checking line develop. Just like a fourth line. You go against their top line for about 15, 20 seconds. They had it last year, and it worked pretty well. But besides that, the Eagles have played outstanding this month.
Well, and the physicality's kind of been a trademark of Eastern hockey for as long as I can remember. And you mentioned it, outside of Hofacker, maybe Cole Best, Isaac Hood, Eastern doesn't have those big hitters and grinders like they have in the past. So you're right, a development of something like that might just take this team to the next level.
Well, and now maybe checking line's not the right way to say it. That's how I do it. But, you could get that out, and you can get some of these players that are real quick and like to use the body like you mentioned. And Jake Best is another one that likes to hit, and Young is developing that way. Just to send them out and try to slow down a team's top line and then pull it off, get your system back. And it works really well if you implement it correctly.
Back to Casey Young on defense for Eastern Washington, out into the neutral zone. Stepping onto the ice is Lane Eriks. He touches the puck for the first time, goes near side to Young. Young tried to play it up the wall. He got it to Frank Flood, but he touched it up on the wrong side of the center stripe. And Thompson giving a little bit of a chase.
Well, minus the Eagles in this tournament so far, what I've seen, I would say Idaho was the team that I thought was going to be a challenge for Eastern. That's not taking anything away from the other squads. They played really well, but you just kind of started to see a little bit of tendency. In Idaho, I've been impressed with them this whole tournament, and when they played up here against Eastern, that's a good hockey club.
It is, and I'm excited to see kind of what they're able to rebuild down there. They went quiet for a couple of years, but that new rink in Moscow seems to have breathed some new life into this program. When Eastern played down there, they packed the house for the WSU game. I'd love to see Eastern go down there and take on these Idaho Vandals in Moscow and see what kind of crowd they can develop at that rink.
Yeah, that would be a great little rivalry if they can get Idaho involved a little bit more. You got Idaho, WSU, and Eastern. I mean, you're talking about a rivalry already developed. That would be it. But I'm just again, I'm so impressed with Eastern's hockey club right now. Just even flashing back to early October until now, it's like a whole different squad. But again, they brought in a lot of new players. They finally got to know how to play with each other, and you can see it on the ice right now. And they got a lot of confidence going. You got Waylon Belair, Duncan Lofton. They're fitting in real nicely, and they're brand new. You got Young. So Eastern's definitely developing, and they're kind of starting to peak at the right time.
They've got there's another showcase next weekend here, the Pac-8 showcase. Just showcasing four of the teams in the Pac-8 conference. And then Eastern heads out on another road trip to California where they take on another Pac-8 squad in the UC San Diego Tritons. That one awful close to an offside, but Hood somehow finding the stick of Cole Best right out front, but Wiehausen doing a good job. I think that Spinaroonie at the blue line might have slowed Isaac down a little bit.
It did, but that's his only play. Two Vandals converged on him, and it was a great job. I mean, I just love watching the Best brothers. If you listen to the broadcast, I say their name a lot. But if you notice how Cole set up, he almost knew exactly what Hood was going to do. He lined up right in front of the net, got a nice little shot off, but Wiehausen's a tough goalie. He doesn't let many in.
Now here come the Vandals the other direction. This is Ludwig. Fires a shot into the midsection of Brendan Carew, his second save of the contest.
And we know how great Carew is. There's no question. But I want to give a shout-out to Sam Brash last night. That kid was outstanding. I mean, he faced 15 shots, stopped everything, and they were all difficult shots. There was no gimme. He had an outstanding day in net, and he's going to be a major find for EWU coming in the future.
And if I remember correctly, I believe that is Sam's first shutout.
I think it is too.
In an Eastern uniform. I'll double check that here.
But he was just stellar last night. He was, and there were some rocket shots on him, and he didn't even give up bad rebounds. He just played all the way on great. Isn't that a luxury, though? You got Brendan Carew in net, who we know how good he is, and then you got Sam Brash coming in, picking up where we needed him. They got a great tandem of netminders.
Well, just confirmed that was Sam's first shutout in an Eastern Washington uniform. And Gary, I'm going to say that maybe it had something to do with the Booster Club, as he had brand new helmet stickers for the first time last night.
That's right. I saw him put them on.
If you want to see those, just search EW Eagles Hockey on Instagram or Facebook. Some great stickers there. Thank you to the Eagles Hockey Booster Club for making our goaltenders look great. If you want to help them out, you can. EaglesHockeyBoosters.com. It's right there on your screen, or you can find them on Facebook at Eagles Hockey Boosters. They're the ones that help make everything happen behind the scenes here. They paid for flights to California earlier this year, paid for all sorts of things. Snacks last night to the sin bin even. Which
I was going to bring that up.
I'm thinking maybe Sam Thompson might think that there's some left over there because he's going to go investigate.
And where else? Where else besides the EW boosters? They'll go out there to help the players that go in the box, give them little munchies out there, let them reflect a little bit. But again, that's because of the boosters.
So Sam Thompson going to take a 2-minute seat in the snack bin. 13, just under 13 and a half left to play in this opening period. Idaho a chance here to put themselves on top early in the home barn of the Eagles and really kind of solidify their place here in the Inland Northwest as one of the powerhouse teams.
No, I do. I like the Vandals a lot. They're just a well-rounded hockey club, and I'm going by the leaps and bounds. You mentioned it, how the new rink and stuff. But about 2-3 years ago, you couldn't have made that statement. But man, this team is awfully talented.
They are a great job to this team for recruiting and rebuilding themselves. Like we said, having to go dark is tough. Eastern Hockey did it at the ACHA level for a couple of years, and it was a slog to rebuild. And Idaho's doing a great job. I'm excited to see kind of where they finish this season at. They're not part of a conference, so chances are we won't see them in the postseason anywhere, unless they get what a save by Brendan Carew, but unless they get that large bid to regionals. And now having to give chase as Isaac Hood. Weehausen thinks about going for it, but he realizes it's going to go behind the end line. Hood's got Jake Best crashing on the far post. He's going to circle the zone and, in fact, take it all the way back to his own blue line instead of forcing the issue shorthanded. And Eastern looking for that stretch pass again. Isaac gets behind the defense, and for the second game in a row, his first shot off of the cage of the netminder.
Well, again, you just saw Isaac Hood's talent. What he did, and a lot of players, they're usually in a rush, shoot the puck all the way down, eats up a few seconds. But Hood knew he had space. He just actually skated all the way back into his zone, then went toward Idaho's end, shoots the puck in, comes off rebound, and he goes straight in and gets it in another shot. The kid is just plain talented, and it'll be interesting to see if Idaho will do what Wyoming tried to do. They were definitely trying to get him out of the game, and so he's getting to be well known in around this whole area.
And just the confidence to bring that puck back through the neutral zone to his own zone, shorthanded. I mean, you have to be pretty confident in your abilities to get that puck back down the ice to do something like that.
And not all players can do it, but I know Jake Best does it quite a bit also. Yeah, you do have to have a lot of confidence, but it's amazing. He probably ate up an extra 10 seconds of that penalty by doing what he did rather than just shooting it down in their end. And that helps the squad that can set up. He's just a talented hockey player.
That shot's going to go the length of the ice. Still 9 seconds on the power play for the Vandals, so no icing coming for Eastern Washington. But in the last 2 minutes, Gary, it hasn't looked like the Vandals have been on the power play, only getting the puck to dribble just like that towards Brendan Carew as we get back to even strength.
Well, Eastern, what they've done a great job of right now, killing off this penalty, is they clogged up that neutral zone. They're sending one guy in, but they got three people back, and Idaho can't stretch it on them, and that's what's been hampering them on that power play.
Face-off coming stick side of Brendan Carew. Lusk trying to poke it through. He's got two black and gold jerseys in front of him. He's going to take it to the outside. Flood crashes towards the middle. Now Lusk backhands midsection. The puck loose, and they're going to blow it dead early. We saw this happen a couple of times yesterday. But we do want to give a shout-out to the officiating crew this weekend. They have been top-notch across all 8 games.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job. Nothing but kudos to them. But I want to touch on Frank Flood. You notice now his offense is picking up more and more. And what he's doing, he's getting those dirty, greasy goals because he's plotting himself right in front of the net, gets a lot of tip-ins. He's done a really nice job over the last month and a half.
Well, he almost earned maybe the greatest assist in his life right there.
Yeah.
Got the puck out front, went between his legs to Lusk, and just inches off of the mark.
But again, when there he was, he's at the top of the crease, and he's found a home there, and it's working for him. Well, we got a penalty. I think it's going to come up against Eastern, and I think Flood's going in. Well, no, Idaho was going in. Then Flood said something, and he gets to go sit in the snack bar. bin or whatever you called it.
The snack bin.
Yeah, that's it. I knew I was
So-
going to stutter it out sooner or later.
Both players going into the box here at 9:26.
But I'm wondering if Frank didn't. Oh, no, they gave him a 2-minute. I was wondering if they gave him an unsportsmanlike.
It looks like that's what they both got. So both players maybe not able to keep their words to themselves.
Well, I think Frank was talking to the referee, and I don't think he liked what he said because he wasn't going at first, but then a little too vocal, I think.
So now they're just going to have both of those teams sit, or both of those players sit and allow their teams to keep playing at five-a-side hockey. But a dangerous puck off the glass behind the net almost bounces back. So they'll take seat as the puck now back in the Eastern or the Idaho end of the ice as Eastern in control. But to go back to what you were saying about Frank Flood, he's got 16 points on the season, 9 goals, 7 assists. He's averaging a point per game. And like you said, Gary, a lot of that is just due to him being that big man in front of the net, which I think is something that Eastern hasn't really had in the recent past, at least. Somebody that has the body to stand out front.
And Frank started to develop that a little bit right after we got back from that California swing way back in whenever it was September or August or something. And I noticed he decided to start standing in front of that crease, and it's worked well for him.
Now the Vandals going to bring it up into the neutral zone on the stick of Crane. He pokes that ahead. But fighting for it in the corner is Ting. Ting pushed off of the puck, but right to the stick of Crane. Now Carew unable to hold on to that. Idaho still in possession, and now Carew along the side of his net going to hold on to that. And Ryan Carew, his little brother, taking some exception with what's happening behind the net.
Having a little discussion, see how the Idaho player was today. But I got it. On the Idaho teams, there's some guys that have just stood out to me as Navari, Roundtree, Gregory's had an outstanding. I can go down their whole list. Ludwig, Keefe has just been a stud out there for a couple games. Just a talented roster. Ben Wilson is hellacious out there. So, again, Idaho is a very, very talented hockey club.
Shot taken from right out front. And that's going to go into the netting. 8:47 left in this period. Two teams all knotted up at 0. 4 shots apiece so far in this one.
Chadwick's another hockey player for Idaho that has a high IQ. He's always in the right place, and you never catch him out of position. But that's Idaho. They don't make a lot of errors. They stay pretty solid with their system they've implemented.
Thompson going to chop that into the neutral zone, right to the skates of Joel Lusk. So back on the stick of a Vandal. Crashing on the near side is Ting. Ting pushed up against the wall by Young. He's not going to let up. But coming in to scoop that puck out was another Vandal player. Now it's heading the other direction. On the stick of Eastern Washington, Lusk loses it underneath Gortzen. Teams going back and forth across the blue lines, but nobody really able to put any offensive pressure together here in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
They're actually mirroring each other right now. They're just trying to get a feel for what everybody wants to do so far in the 12 minutes has been in the first.
Tierney now going to pick it up behind the Eastern Washington cage. Passes it right to a Vandal behind him. Trying to get away with a no-look pass, and Isaac Hood, big hit on the far side. But they're going to call a penalty for that.
They're going to go boarding on it looks like.
So Isaac Hood, 2 minutes for boarding as Sam Thompson leaves the box. This penalty coming 12:40 of the first. Already Eastern's third penalty of the day.
I think last night's game against Wyoming was a little bit of a I can't think of the right word, but both teams took a ton of penalties, so hopefully Eastern settles down and they don't take as many as they did last night.
Well, and those are the times that Eastern gets in their way, is when they end up taking these big penalties and multiple penalties that they tend to get in their own way and they can't play the way that they want to play. And granted, Eastern has been phenomenal shorthanded so far this season.
And last season,
and
the season before.
That's true. They've gotten good at playing down a man.
Again, they just have to use their head a little bit. The hood penalty, I'm not really sure. That looked like a good hit to me. He didn't take any strides to put him in the boards, but you're right. Eastern's been accustomed to playing shorthanded, and I don't know your system last night. You were saying, well, just don't pull a goal and put
Sam Brash and Brendan Carew in there at the same time.
That's an interesting strategy, but no, they adapt well, and Idaho's got to be aware of that because Eastern will attack shorthanded.
And there was a good opportunity right there for Idaho. Just couldn't corral the puck at the top of the zone. Roundtree has it. He's the team's leading scorer. Tierney going to take exception to what he thought was a late hit from Roundtree.
I wonder if he didn't go for a butt end or a sticking Roundtree because they're taking him off the ice right now.
It looks like all the way off the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get...
I think they're going to get a major on him, possibly. Some kind of misconduct. He got a 5-minute misconduct. I think he might have got the gate. Early shower time for him because I know a stick went in. I think it was a butt end or a stick jabbed into.
It did.
I saw that. So
we talked about the major penalties yesterday in the game. And here we are, first period tonight, a major penalty on the board. Eastern wasn't really able to take advantage of any of those major penalties. I think they scored one late in the game last night.
But what helped them on that one, that wore down Wyoming. They had a couple of them, and they got real tired toward the end. But I think in defense of Roundtree, I don't think he purposely or maliciously tried to stick him because I looked at it after the play stopped, and he actually went over and talked to the Eagle player to see if he was okay. I just think it was inadvertent, but it looked worse than what I think happened on that. But it was nice to see Roundtree go over there and make sure the player was okay.
And that's going to cause some problems for Eastern Washington, or for the Vandals. As we said, Roundtree has the most goals on the team with 3. Granted, not a ton, but he's only played in 5 games.
Yeah, and he's talented, though. You watch him he's always in the right spot, seems at the right time. And, they'll definitely feel his lack of offensive presence out there. But again, I don't know if they gave him a game, but I don't know why they took him off the ice if they just gave him 5 minutes. So I think they decided, my hunch is, unless they gave him a 10 and a 5, but he may be back way in the later half of this second period where he's done for the day.
Here comes Thompson. Eastern officially on the power play now. But it's the Vandals looking to head the other way. And a big hit's going to send Lucas Ting right back to the bench. He's a little bit slow to get there. Luckily, Jose, the trainer, is already on the Vandals bench, so he'll be getting some much-needed attention quickly. Carew loses that on his stick, at least for the moment.
Jose does such a great job for EW and the visiting teams.
Lusk tumbling pot over tea kettle there. But the Eagles not letting the Vandals get out of their own end.
Well, he went head over tea kettle because Mr. Ludwig decided he wanted to put him that way. It's a nice hit by him. Great one-timer by Luss, swallowed up by Weehausen, but that was a sharp angle. He can take a one-timer. A nice job by both of those players. That was a wicked shot by Joel Luss.
And Joel's going to take the face-off here on the far side face-off dot. Back near to Hood. Up top to Wells. Hood, one-timer looking for that top corner and floats it just a bit too tall.
He does like going to the top shelf.
Lusk looking to get it across. Caught up in traffic up front. Puck still loose, and again the whistle blown dead with the loose puck in the crease. Looks like the net may have been dislodged.
It looked like a mess in front of the net right there. I mean, there was a lot of traffic down there.
The officials eager to protect the netminders today and yesterday, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but just something for the teams to be aware of, that those whistles are going to come early.
Hopefully not as often as the Wyoming EW game last night.
Best thinking about a shot. Player taken down right in front of the net. That's going to give Eastern a 5-on-3 penalty, or a 5-on-3 power play as soon as the Vandals touch the puck. And Jake Best just going to let Garvis take that shot. Now heading to the box. It looks like it's Gage Crane. 16:24 of this first period. It'll be Crane for an interference.
There's a golden opportunity for Eastern for at least 2 minutes. They're going to have a two-man advantage, so let's see if they can capitalize it. Their power play is starting to improve also through the year, so this is a good time to start working it. Looks like Jake Best in for the Eagles to take the draw. Won by the Vandals, who whooped it all the way around, but nice. Oh, Turney almost had it stuffed in there. Nice job by Mac trying to save it.
And for those of you that may be a little newer to hockey, the major penalty, no matter how many goals are scored, that doesn't go away until the full 5 minutes has expired. But because this minor penalty occurred, if Eastern scores, that minor penalty will go away. The major will still stick around. Crew has that right in front of him and kicks it out to Cole Best. Cole now going to take it on the far side. He's got his brother Jake trailing and a couple of players waiting at the blue line. Cole with it on the far side. He's got Mac Tierney on the near side. That's where he goes with it. Little floater over to Tierney, who puts it on net. Looking to screen the goalie was Wyatt Stevenson. Now Cole Best with it. Thinks about the shot. Looking to make a couple men miss. Goes right towards the goal mouth. And the net is dislodged with 50 seconds left on the 5-on-3. A full 2 minutes of 5-on-3 is a long time for these players. Luckily, it happened in the first period, not in the second, where they'd have to get that long change.
Now, one thing I'm noticing with Eastern on this power play is they're trying to set up. Last night, there was more fluid motion out of them. They were cycling more. Today in this power play, they're trying to be, it looks like a little set. They're trying to develop a play, and they're not going as quick as they did yesterday, which worked well for them against Wyoming. But there's nothing wrong with changing it up, see if that will work. But hopefully they realize, okay, we got to go back to our motion power play, because that worked extremely well.
Now Hood with it on the far side. 4 Eagles in the zone. Hood looking for that wraparound, hits Sam Thompson, who was there to screen Weehausen. Thompson with it still. Just under 10 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Hood with it. Looking to find an open spot. Thinks he does. Has it deflected away. Back to Hood now. Penalty expires. 20 seconds left on the major penalty. Lusk out front. Hood trying to poke it in. Hood taken down as he tried to corral the puck, and that's going to be a delayed penalty against Eastern, as it looked like Wells going to head to the box. We'll see what the call is here, as he got together with Navari. And they're going to call that a hook. So Eastern going to be on the penalty kill in 9 seconds. 4-on-4 hockey until then. In a perfect world for Eastern Washington fans, they'll carry about 35 seconds of this penalty over to the second period.
I do like what I saw Eastern doing. They were plopping two guys in front of Wehausen on that power play and trying to distract him and block up some of his vision. And that's a nice technique to do. And then you got Frank Flood. He was back there on top of the crease doing a good job trying to get the puck in.
And now it's Idaho's turn to see what they can make happen on the power play. With the puck, feeding it back was Paulson. Now it's going to go to the far side. Deflected by Hofacker. So having to chase all the way back into his own zone is Garvis. And now Hofacker fires it into the chest of Gortson before he's firmly planted into the wall. Gortson now has it, feeds it near side to Keefe, who bangs that one off the wall behind the cage. 30 seconds left in the opening period. Still nobody able to find the back of the net. Eriks trying to get that puck, pinning a man against the wall. Now at the top of the zone is Gortson. It's going to go near side to Garvis. And Carew going to snatch that out of the air and pin it against the ice with 12 seconds left in this first period. Gary, so far this game about as evenly matched as we expected it to be.
It is. Both of them are trying to get their stretch pass games going up. Both teams doing a good job in the neutral zone. But I got to give a shout out to Jaden the Tank Hofacker. It was a great move by the coaching staff to put him on the penalty kill. That kid's motor is constantly going. He seems like he's always blocking a shot or two on that. He's perfect for the penalty kill.
And that's going to do it for period number 1. 4 penalties for Eastern Washington, 3 for the Vandals. And so far, that's the only thing we've got on the score sheet. So we'll be back in about 18 minutes with the second period, the final game of the Eagles Nest Showcase here in Cheney. You're watching Eastern Washington University men's hockey. Friends and family, welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center, where we've got the final game of the Pac-8 Showcase. Period number 2 heading your way. If you're just joining us, my name's Tyler Pisani. I am joined, as always, by Gary Allen, and you haven't missed a whole lot in this in the first period. Neither team able to find the back of the net. Eastern Washington taking 4 penalties, 21 seconds of which still being served by Sam Thompson. For the Vandals, they took 3 penalties, but one of them a butt end from Thomas Roundtree, which sent him to the locker room for the rest of the game. So the Vandals, without their second leading scorer and their goal leader for the remainder of this one. And Eastern back to full strength. Thompson trying to get at that as he came out of the box. I don't think he saw it coming until it was just a bit too late. But, Gary, you've been watching these teams. What are we in store for here?
Well, both teams have a similar style, so it'll be interesting who makes an adjustment to try to break that pattern. But, you were talking about the squads, but you notice Idaho came out with a flurry right off the face-off. I think it was Gornson. He just busted in between the 2 D-men. So, again, that's how impressive Idaho is. They don't quit. They're going to be in it, and the Eagles are going to have to be prepared for it. But if I was Eastern, I would continue what they're doing. At least defense, they're shutting down Idaho, and they just got to try to get a little bit of offense. But look at it, both gold miners they have played real well. Wehausen for Idaho and Carew for Eastern. So it's a goaltender's battle right now. To me, that's what it seems like.
Lusk looking for a backhanded top shelf goal there and ended up going too high, putting it into the netting in front of the scoreboard. So we'll have another stoppage here and a face-off coming to the glove side of Wehausen.
I think this could be a good opportunity. We were just talking about it, you and I, between periods next week, the little mini tournament, I call it. And what squads are up here again? That I know USC
so
is.
Thursday, it'll be Washington State against USC. You can watch that game via the Washington State broadcast channels. I believe they're on Black Dog Hockey. And then on Friday, a doubleheader with Washington State playing San Jose State at 3 o'clock and Eastern playing USC in a later game starting at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Same thing on Saturday, and that one clangs off of the iron there. Best chance of the day for Eastern Washington as Wehausen saved by his best friend in red right behind him. But Friday and Saturday, matching schedules. 3 o'clock WSU against San Jose State and 8 o'clock Eastern against USC. And then on Sunday, Washington State and USC going to close out that Pac-8 showcase. But a good opportunity to see a lot of Pac-8 teams here at the URC over the course of a few weekends. And after that, Eastern going to travel down to Anaheim to play UCSD. Got a puck right in the center of the crease. Wehausen lost it for a second, but his good buddy Benton Wilson there to cover it up.
That was a nice job by Casey on there. He pinched down and he just almost surprised all the Vandals and put that puck in the net. But excellent heads-up play by him. He saw his line mate behind the cage, and he just snuck in off his deep post and had a good shot on net.
Puck won by the Vandals. Paulson has it. He tries to send it around the back of the cage. He's able to get it as far as Jekyll on the far side. Now Hood not able to keep it on his stick as Vidmer coming through the neutral zone. It's going to be sent back down behind the Idaho net. Now on the stick of Paulson again. Not able to get it out of their defensive end. And Jekyll again behind the net. Cole Best giving him fits back there, but Jekyll still in possession as Cole's going to head to the bench. Bouncing puck over the top of Ryan Carew's stick. And now David Caravan able to keep it in the zone for the Vandals. Now Caravan takes it away from Jake Best and had just a couple too many touches right out front. Well, back to Paulson at the top of the zone. Jake Best gets it as far as Wyatt Stevenson.
That was a tremendous play by Ryan Crew down there. He actually slid across and swung his stick on the ice and knocked the puck out of the way, or that could have been a point-blank shot on his brother.
Backhanded in, sent around the backside of the net. With it is Jekyll. Jekyll pushes it ahead, picking it up in front of the Eastern Washington bench was Bobby Ludwig. Now battle for the puck down in the corner. Two Vandals, two Eagles still battling for it, and it's going to be Hofacker that comes away with it. A good stick lift from behind by Bobby Ludwig. And it looks like that's going to result in him heading to the box for a hooking minor. 4 minutes, 28 seconds into this second period. Eastern going to get their first shot at the power play. Going 0 for 3, including a 5-on-3 and a major penalty in that first period. Hood, no look backhand pass to Wells. Now back to Wells on the near side. Wells lays it off for Lusk. Lusk thinks about the shot, goes to Wells. One-timer, top of the zone, bouncing puck out front. And that puck still just in the center of the crease. So 1:46 left on the penalty clock. And Wehausen doing a good job of keeping that puck from crossing that goal line.
He did, especially since Thompson parked himself right on top of the crease. He was looking for that little tip-in thing. But Wehausen, he's sharp. That goaltender, he doesn't give up any weak goals. He's an interesting netminder, and Eastern's going to have to try to figure out what they're going to do with him on their shots and see if they can loosen him up.
Comes near side to Wells. Now right out front to Flood. And he can't find the back of the net from there. And that one tipped, so it's going to go back down the ice. Wells is going to have to reset his team from behind his own goal. The Eagles building out of their own end. Lusk gains the blue line. He's got Thompson on the near side. Flood right out front. Lusk still with it. Hood waiting. Circles in front of him. Now a shot from the top, looking for a deflection out front. And neither Thompson nor Flood was able to get enough of it, but now here comes Hood. Hood feeds it down low, looking for the give and go, and he couldn't find it with his stick, but the puck got back to him. Another deflection through the center of the zone. Eastern really trying to stretch Idaho east and west when they're on offense, and Idaho doing a good job of keeping their shape back there.
Well, they're spacing. They're not biting into it, so they're keeping their distance on how their system operates. But wasn't that a nice give and go by Thompson and Hood? Even though it didn't go in the net, but that was a nice play they set up amongst each other.
Out to Tierney. Tierney puts a shot deflected into the corner. Now Cole Best trying to clean it up. He does enough to distract the defender. Out to Ryan Carew from Stevenson. Actually, that was Young. Stevenson doing a good job of getting the puck there, but just off the mark. And now Jake Best distracting the defender on the far side. Stevenson looking for somewhere to go with the puck. Surveys the zone. Now is pushed up against the wall. He leaves it off for Best. Cole Best looking to tuck it right in to that near post, but Wehausen covering it up. Penalty expires. Eastern still in possession. Second period, so the Idaho bench is back in the Eastern Washington zone. Players can't get the power play or the penalty kill line off the ice just yet, and that'll be an icing. And they're gonna say no, it was tipped. Actually, no, icing. They're trying to give the Idaho player, who was Bobby Ludwig, a chance to get down there, catch up to that puck.
You had 100% chance of getting that correctly.
I did.
So nice work. Nice work there.
So Idaho still not able to change. Potentially some tired legs out there at the end of that power play. Bouncing puck off of the end wall. Eastern still in possession. Carew knocked hard off of the puck, and that's going to put the Vandals right back on the penalty kill. I think they might get him for a check from behind.
You can only play with that so much before it comes back and bites you, and Eastern's had some opportunities now, so we'll see if they can capitalize on this.
Interesting call there. They called a rough on that. So it looked like a fairly benign hit to me, but I think the officials just trying to keep a lid on this one and not let it get out of hand. So they're calling this one pretty tight. So 6:58 of the second period. Eastern back on the power play. 0 for 4 up to this point. Flood to Hood. It goes between his legs. He's able to keep it in the zone. Now over to Flood on the far side. Wells and Lusk on the near side. Hood pushing it towards the goal from the top of the face-off circle. Now Wells keeps it in, goes to the far side to Hood. Back to the near side to Lusk. A little bit of a heavy hand there as he wasn't able to corral that. Carew going to pull that back for his own player. And Hood now trying to use some speed. Good deflection off of the stick of Keith there. Requiring Eastern to reset. 1:15 left on the power play for the Eagles. Lusk brings it through the neutral zone, takes a man with him. And the Eagles still in possession. Wells floats that towards the goal mouth. Couple of Eagle sticks trying to knock it down. Wells again goes near side to Lusk. Lusk back to Wells. One-timer from the top of the zone. Bouncing puck out front. And Eastern Washington just not able to poke that one home. Up into the air, back down onto the ice, back into the air, and now underneath. Wehausen. Eastern, just a couple of unlucky bounces there.
Oh, you tip your cap to Wehausen on that one, but Eastern, they were swinging at that puck that was midair, and they just could not. They were whiffing on it. But, see, and that's why I was saying, if you notice, Wells that time, he opened up on a shot, and it is so hard. I wish he would shoot more like that because it gave a long rebound out, which gave Flood and a few more Eagles a chance to try to tip it in.
And Eastern Washington got away with the first hit, and then it looked like Jake Best with a two-hand into the back of Lucas Ting.
Well, it looks like an Eagle's down in the corner.
Oh, there is an Eagle down.
And I think that's why Best responded the way he did, because I think he got achieved. There's going to be a penalty, but I don't know if it's going to go against Eastern or Idaho. Or both, actually. They might get Best for the second shot.
I think that might be Isaac Hood down there.
Well, we got Lucas Tins, I think, went in the box for Idaho.
Jose still tending to the player down in the corner. It was actually Cole Best. So he's back up on his skates.
That kid's a gritty hockey player. He gets hammered every game, and he gets right back up.
He does. He reminds me a little bit, and this is going to be a bit of a stretch here, but he reminds me a bit of how Mark Messier plays. He gets down into the corners. He's always that first player to the puck in the corner, using his body to shield it and really digging for those. And that's what tends to happen sometimes. And they're going to eject a second Idaho player.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went with a boarding or checking from behind on that one, and that's why they're going to retire him, because that was a big hit that Best took. And now Best is going in. Cole, and I'm not sure why he's getting a penalty on this.
So Cole Best instigated the initial situation. You could see the Vandals kind of looking around for a boarding call off of his first hit, but no official raised their hands initially, and then it became kind of a bigger issue.
It umbrelled it after
it
that.
did.
And then everybody just decided to meet in the corner.
So Ting, the second player from Idaho that's taken a major today and been sent to the locker room. So 4-on-3 out there, almost like a power play in overtime. As Best going to take a seat. We'll see what that call was for. That one ends up in the Idaho bench. So Cole Best, 2 minutes for a cross check. And Ting, he was ejected for head contact. That's a big no-no at this level. So lots of open ice. Eastern's best opportunity of the game so far. And again, with a major penalty there, that one won't expire no matter how many goals Eastern scores. But the minor penalty, if they score in the next 15 seconds, will disappear. Near side to Thompson. He's got Wells. Flood waiting out front. Lusk on the far side. He goes to Flood right out front. Puck still not covered up. And then Flood knocked down after the play as Graves trying to protect his netminder. Flood saw the puck was loose down there, was really chopping at it. Can't blame Graves for stepping in the way there.
No. But Frank did Flood exactly what he needed to do. The puck was a little loose, and he just kept hacking at it. But you knew the Vandals were going to respond off that one.
So 2 seconds left on the 4-on-3. Then we'll go to 4-on-4 for 1:20, and then Eastern will have 3 minutes of power play time after that. Out of the box comes Gregory. And Hagenbaugh, team's scoring leader, out in the center of the zone. He has it taken off of his stick. Hood with it now. Backhand pass near side to Jake Best. Jake tried to get it to Hood, but a good stand there by Gortson. And a good 2-on-3 rush the other way by the Vandals. Covered up by Carew. 49 seconds left on the 4-on-4.
Another improvement I've seen by the Eagles that they developed in the last month and a half, they're anticipating better. And that would tell you also they're gelling more because now they're actually looking at, okay, this is the way we're going to go. So that's kudos for Eastern on the coaching staff for developing them.
Another big save there for Carew. That is 8th of the game. I'm noticing Eastern's doing a good job again tonight of getting in the way of those shots and not letting that first shot happen at all. Only 8 shots halfway through this game. Last night, they only allowed 15 shots for Wyoming, and they're tracking for just 16 here today.
And what's nice about it with them getting their body in front, they might not totally knock it down, but they definitely slow the puck down on top of Carew.
That shot well read by Carew as Wilson tried to use the screen out front. Puck on the far side to Keefe. Keefe has it taken off of his stick, and now Eastern with numbers if they skate. Hofacker back behind Stevenson. Stevenson wrestled off of the puck. And the Vandals in possession. Not sure what they blew the play dead here for.
There was a little action going on both sides. I didn't see on that one, but because I was watching the trail of the play, and Casey Young and the Vandal, they were having a nice little scrum coming up the ice, and the referee, he was skating right behind him. He was watching him. Good job by him to let it go because it turned out to be nothing, but they were definitely having a serious conversation.
And out of the box comes Cole Best. Hood back behind his own net. The Vandals doing a good job of marking the floaters at the blue line down the ice. It's going to require Eastern to carry this one at least to the blue line. On the far side is Thompson. He's got Flood out front, Lusk on the near side. That's where he goes. Lusk in front of the Eastern shoot door, up to Wells at the blue line. He's going to go to the far side to Hood. Hood stick handles a bit. Now skates parallel to the blue line. Near side now. Circles back towards the far side. He gets it over to Wells. Chaos in front of the net here. Lusk now back to Hood, looking for something to open up out front. Shot taken back of the net. Eastern Washington takes advantage of the major penalty, cycling it around the zone. And Sam Thompson, actually Trent Wells on the far side.
And that's exactly why I hope Wells started to open up his shot. Nice job by Hood. He kind of just slid over into the top slot. Wells saw it. He pinched down a little bit and one-timed it. And I'm telling you, Trent Wells, I hope he starts shooting more because his shot is just a bullet, rocket, whatever you want to say. He's got a heavy shot. And he just showed it again right there. There's no way Wehauser could have stopped that. That was just a bam play out of Eastern on that one. But that was a nice tape to tape from Hood to Wells on that one. But they were setting it up, and that goes back to jailing.
I'm not sure what Thompson did here, but irritated the officials enough to give him a roughing minor.
And that's interesting because Thompson, he just instantly went over and was going to congratulate Wells. I didn't see him run into anybody down there.
So he's going to take a 2-minute rough, which essentially negates the rest of this major penalty. But that goal officially coming at 11:05 of this second period. Wells from Flood and Hood.
It'd be interesting to see exactly what Thompson did, because like I said, if we could pull up a replay, because literally I did not see him run into anybody.
So that goal, that assist rather, was Isaac Hood's 20th point of the season, averaging 1.27 points per game. That assist actually makes Frank Flood the team's leading assist getter to this point in the season. Still 4-on-4 hockey now. Hood has it, just barely knocked off of his tape. He's going to go to the far side. One-timer shot from Wells from the top of the circle this time. Not quite the same angle.
But again, I would just have nothing but an onslaught. There's coming a penalty on
so
Eastern.
Eastern's going to, Eastern will have to take a seat here. So they'll have to defend a 5-on-3, at least for a little while. And this time it's going to be Joel Lusk. 12 minutes, 4 seconds. Did you catch what that penalty was for, Gary?
They gave him an interference.
So an interference on Joel Lusk. Going to give us a 4-on-3 the opposite direction now.
Now, here's where Idaho has to be careful with Eastern, because we mentioned it several times over this weekend. Eastern likes to attack when they're a man down, so Idaho's got to keep their heads up on that one, because Eastern won't hesitate.
So going back and looking, it looked like Sam Thompson was wrestling Ellis Jekyll to the ground kind of as that goal was happening.
Oh, there it is.
Doing a little bit of a screen action there. And eventually we will get replays onto the broadcast. We got the scoreboard thanks to the Eagles Hockey Booster Club. And next up, the goal is to get a replay machine and maybe a telestrator.
Oh, I love it.
Call up ESPN.
Oh, I'm serious.
See what we need to do there. So as it stands, about 30 seconds left of 4-on-3 time. Then we'll have 16-ish seconds of 4-on-4 before the Vandals going to get a 4-on-3 opportunity here. I'm sorry, a 5-on-4. Math is hard. Lots of numbers on the scoreboard. You guys can see that now. Again, thanks to the Eagles Hockey Booster Club.
Exactly. That is extremely handy. It truly is.
Blockered straight down by Carew. Out of the box comes Thompson. 4-on-4 hockey. Tie up right out front. And Carew going to cover that up as the penalty expires. So now 44 seconds of power play time for the Vandals with 6:39 left in this second period.
That's a class act by Mac Hagenbaugh. He went up and congratulated Carew on stopping that one, because that was a rocket.
That was a rocket.
But, you know, it's funny with Carew, we're so used to seeing him play for the last year and a half. A lot of these saves, we just become accustomed to doing them, but they're extremely difficult saves. He's just so talented.
Puck kicked out into the corner by Carew. Dropped right to the stick of Ludwig, but he wasn't able to get a shot off. Still with the puck on the far side. 30 seconds left on the power play. Now to Keefe. It's going to go up to the top of the zone. Near side where Wilson's going to pick it up. Wilson put into the wall by Hofacker, but not before he got rid of the puck. And Eriks has his pocket picked from behind, giving the Vandals a point-blank opportunity. Hofacker trying to beat Wilson to the puck. Can't, but still a thorn in his side as he's coming through the neutral zone. Looking for that stretch pass out behind the defense is Lusk as he came out of the box. Looking for that backhand, trying to get the wraparound, and he does! Joel Lusk out of the sin bin, straight to the score sheet.
Outstanding job by Mr. Lusk on that one. If you watch what he did, I think Wehausen thought he was going to take a backhand on him. He looped around the cage, and rather than trying to push it in between the pad and the post, Lusk skated a little bit further out. Wehausen committed to the post. He was down. Perfect shot by Lusk into the top corner. Nice job by Joel Lusk. That's a goal scorer's goal there. He knew what he wanted to do.
And they're going to call that one unassisted. Although I'm pretty sure it was an Eagle that fed that puck down the ice to him. But here he comes again. Forehand, backhand, toe drag. Sam Thompson with the cleanup. What a series there for the Eagles.
That was, again, Lusk is just unbelievable on that one. He went in. He just dangles in the toe drag, and Thompson used his head. He was trailing it. He saw where Lusk was. Nice little kick pass between his legs, and Thompson just buried it in for a 3-zip lead by Eastern. But outstanding setup by Joel Lusk after his goal, and Thompson using his head. He goes in there and cleans it up.
So just like that, over the course of about 3.5 minutes, this game went from, or 2.5 minutes. Gary, my math is all over the place today.
We're still counting on that calculator to come anytime now for you.
But what I'm getting at, Eagles scored 2 goals in 19 seconds. Both thanks to Mr. 19. He had the first goal unassisted, and then 21 from 19 as he assisted.
Mac Turney's going to go in for a slash. There's no question about that when he dropped the stick of the Vandals. But, you got to give Wehausen credit. I mean, okay, Eastern's got 3 goals, but they were all difficult goals. There was nothing that Wehausen could have done on any of it. No reflection on him. He's playing an outstanding game, as is Carew, but Lusk has just decided to be a terror right now for the last minute. I mean, well, he plays that way anyway. For the last minute, he was just a thorn on the Vandal side.
So now that I've got my math figured out, it took 3 minutes and 28 seconds for Eastern to score all 3 of those goals. So a big swing in momentum here with that major penalty coming against Ting for the head contact.
And I'm not going to put you on the spot on, well, that's an average of what, about 1 minute and 3 seconds?
Just about, yeah.
Thought I came in there for you so you wouldn't.
Now we're trying to do algebra, and that's just.
I saw your little Venn diagram going over there trying to figure it out. So I thought, okay, I'll just say it. About 1 minute and 2 seconds.
If somebody would buy us an abacus, that would work.
that would be helpful.
Back underway here in the neutral zone. The Vandals trying to get it in. It was off the stick of Gortson. And then it's sent all the way back down the ice as the Eagles clear it out of their zone on the power play.
Definitely looks like the Eagles want to take this de facto championship right now because they are playing stout. They picked up their speed. Their passing game's getting crisper. They've really stepped up their game in the second period.
Best going to send that one in as he one-hands it back behind the goal. We're seeing this very aggressive forecheck from the Eagles. I mean, they're essentially playing like it's 5-on-5 still. That's some tremendous confidence in your netminder.
It is, but they're down a man, but they're gelled so well, and now they're anticipating because Hood got it. He did a little spinorama past the puck, but he knew Cole Best was going to be there. Best was right on that spot and went right to his stick, and he kicked it into their zone. But we were mentioning it. Eastern likes attacking when they're a man down, so I'm not surprised that they're putting this much pressure on the Vandals. Oh, nice.
What a take by Noah Gordson. He just found that far post.
That was an outstanding shot by him. And there was, again, that was one the goaltender couldn't do anything because he used the Eastern player kind of in a screen, and he found a little gap between the blocker and the post on Carew, and he buried it in the net. So this will give Idaho a little bit of extra life too. So, and by no means when it was 3-0, no one could have thought the game was over because Idaho is just too talented to go away, and they don't quit. So
that was the first goal that Eastern has given up in 5 periods, as they shut out Wyoming last night and had shut out Idaho for the first 37 minutes of this contest. So they're going to credit that goal to Adam Paulson.
Really?
It was very clearly from Noah Gordson, though. So on the score sheet, it will show that puck coming from Adam Paulson. The assists going to Joey Vaughn. So officially Paulson from Vaughn, but pretty sure that it's Gordson from Vaughn.
Yeah, because we both had the same angle. It was definitely Gordson that shot the puck, but nothing taken away. But yeah, they'll change that. But I do like what I'm seeing Eastern this period. They've settled in. They're making sure they get their spacing correctly. They know where the other players are. They're anticipating that, and they're connecting more and more. I think they're getting real comfortable in this game.
And 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the second period. Flood trying to get on his horse and beat out the Vandals. I think that was Gregory that he was racing back with. Initially, Gregory won the puck, but Flood slowed him down. They're going to say that was tipped, so no icing coming. Wells going back behind his own net. Now Lusk tries to push it forward. Can't get it any further than Wilson. Battle in front of the net here. Pushing and shoving was Graves and Wells, I believe.
So now Idaho, you notice they're putting more traffic in front of Carew. They went to that game. They decided to adjust a little bit on that, and they're flooding 2 people in on top of the crease.
1:50 left in this frame. Both teams back to 5 skaters, and now here comes Lusk. Back past the last defender. Looks to go one hand through the 5-hole. And a good defense there by the Vandals. And Lusk trying to pick up that rebound and just couldn't get enough on it. Now Young going to rim it all around all the way to the far side where Jake Best picks it up. Best chops it towards the center of the zone. Nothing but black uniforms there. Gregory put into that wobbly Zamboni door in the far corner. And now Gregory knocked down by Hood. Hood still battling with him as he's on the ground, and they're going to call that a hand pass. 1:05 left in the second period. They're going to say it's a hand pass, no change. Last minute of the second period. Eagles in control here, 3-1 over the Idaho Vandals. Both teams undefeated in this weekend's Eagles Nest Showcase. Next weekend, lots of hockey here at the URC as it's WSU and USC at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday at 3 o'clock, it's WSU against San Jose State, and Eastern at 8 o'clock taking on the University of Southern California Trojans. Then on Sunday, it's Washington State again taking on those Trojans. So You can see 6 games over 4 days. Another exciting time here. Thank you to all the teams that came out to the Eagles Nest Showcase this weekend. The University of Wyoming, Utah Valley University, the Idaho Vandals, Washington State. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Western.
Western. So less than 20 seconds left in this second period. Was that one almost up and over the netting? Good deflection by the Vandals defenseman with 11 seconds left to play. Fans, don't forget, it is fall fundraiser time for the Eastern Washington Eagles. Help them fill the snack bin over there for Eastern players. Plus, you get a t-shirt or a workout shirt or a hoodie, whichever you decide, starting at $20. They can be yours in our fall fundraiser. Just head over to eweagleshockey.com or scan that QR code right there on your screen. But the Eagles going to take a 3-1 lead into the second intermission here in the final game of the Eagles Nest Showcase, out shooting the Vandals 25-14. We'll be back with the conclusion of this game and the weekend in about 18 minutes. You're watching Eastern Washington University men's hockey. Friends and family, welcome back to Eastern Washington University Recreation Center for the final period of the Eagles Nest Showcase, where it'll be the two undefeated teams of the weekend, the Eagles and the Vandals, squaring off for the final 20 minutes. Eastern leading 3-1. Gary, what can we expect in this final 20 minutes?
I expect Idaho will start taking some more chances. I wouldn't be surprised to start pinching their D men in more. Eastern, all they got to do is keep playing like they have the first two periods. They've done a solid job. I expect a great third period out of these teams because Idaho won't go away. So Eastern's got to be aware of that. I can't say it enough. I'm so impressed with the Vandals. Again, looking at them 2 years ago, their growth until now, this is a solid unit that they got. And it's good to see because it's a great rivalry for Eastern. They're so close in proximity.
Well, like we talked about, they split the series earlier this year. Eastern not slated to go down to Moscow to play at the new Palouse ice rink against the Vandals. They did go play a game Saturday after homecoming against Washington State down there. But I would love to see these two teams take on each other in that barn. Maybe get a home-and-home series going over the next few years.
That's what I was just going to say. That'd be great for a home-on-home series.
Lusk looking for another one. He went for that wraparound, and this time a little more expedited than his first wraparound attempt. And Wehausen covered that one up well.
That was a traditional wraparound. Lusk on that goal he did, and an outstanding job by him on how he floated out a little bit further. But, yeah, that'd be a great, especially with Idaho being independent, it'd be a great home-on-home series.
Heck, maybe they should just invite Idaho to join the Pac-8.
I would. If anybody from Pac-8 want to call me, I'm going to really highly recommend that they put Idaho in.
Another team up in this area would do wonders for that league.
We could do it like Blaine Spencer did when he was getting the charge going on air for the Pac-8 tournament to come over. We'll just start getting on the air to get Idaho in Pac-8.
Vandals in the pack.
That's right.
And that is a good reminder that next week the Pac-8 Showcase is in town as Washington State, Eastern Washington, USC, and San Jose State all playing next weekend. Eastern playing Eagles After Dark next Friday night, 8 o'clock here at the URC. I hear that the Booster Club is trying to find some glow sticks for that game, maybe some boom sticks as well. So keep an eye on Eastern Washington's Facebook page, EW Eagles Hockey. And here comes Hood. He's going to chase that down into the corner. It was just over his reach. But still in possession are the Eagles. That Best over to Ryan Carew. Now back up top to Jake Best. Hood has it, trying to survey the ice, get it off to his own teammate. He loses his feet, but Eastern still in control of the puck. A rebound right out front to Jake Best off of a shot from Young. Now Young doing a good job pinching up against the wall, keeping that puck in the attacking zone. Now he's going to take it back behind the goal. Tries to leave it out for Jake Best. And Jake's going to send it back to Ryan Carew at the top of the zone. Backhand by Hood to Cole out front. Cole Best losing his skates. Another shot from Casey Young. This time, the Vandals trying to clear it right into the waiting hand of Hood. He's on the far side, looking for Young in the center. Now Hofacker with it. Tries a bit of a toe drag, loses it, but he's going to send it all the way around to the other side. Ryan Carew picks it up. Carew feeding it out front, but nobody there but black uniforms. Now Stevenson pushed off of the puck. It's going to rim around to the near side. Holden Masterson got his first goal in an Eastern uniform on Friday night. He's back out there. Pushes that one down low to Hofacker. Hofacker just won too many touches. He's going to come together with the Vandal player, who's still on top of his stick. And now a delayed penalty coming, looks like against Eastern, for that situation with Hofacker. So Jaden going to go take a 2-minute timeout. They're going to give him a rough.
I was giving shout outs to the Vandals, but I also got to go with Eastern. If you're an Eastern fan out of it, they are so impressive now. Their growth is incredible, and they are becoming one solid hockey unit. That it's very, very nice to see, for lack of better terminology, just how much they've grown and how well they gel together. This is a solid hockey club.
An opportunity for the Vandals on the back door there, but nobody able to get their stick to it. As Ludwig brings it up the near side. Shot taken from the top of the circle, that time by Gortzen. He's got the goal for the Vandals.
Well, you were on that California swing with me and you're looking at the Eagles now compared to back then. We both were shaking our heads down like this. This may turn into be a rough year, but they have developed so well and they bought into the coaching staff system. They are going to be a handful the rest of this year, and especially that Pac-8 tournament.
Well, and this sounds counterintuitive, but I think that California trip, as bad as it was for the record, really set this team up for long-term success. There's a lot of camaraderie built over that weekend, and it's tough to lose 4-4. It's tough to lose 2-2 in a weekend. But on the flight back, it was still the team wasn't hanging their head. They were laughing, they were joking, they were hanging out with each other still, and we've just seen that continue to grow here. So check back in on this team in a month and see where they're at winter break.
Well, you said it. I think the camaraderie they built down there, and it gave them a lot of information to the coaching staff what they had to work on compared to if they just practiced that weekend. And so I think it did help them, even though they lost 4. But you could start seeing them starting to gel a little bit then, but it leaps and bounds from where they were until now. They have turned into a very solid hockey team.
And coming into the game, we talked about this a lot yesterday, that we thought that these two teams were very evenly matched, and outside of a 3-minute stretch in that second period, they have been.
Yeah, they're playing it really kind of straight up with each other, and which is good to see because, again, that gives the Vandals, they get a lot of confidence going out of it, and so does Eastern because they know they're playing against a good squad.
Puck dumped into the middle of the neutral zone. And still giving chase down into the corner is Hagenbaugh. You know that he'd like one for the Vandals, the team's leading scorer.
Vandals going to pick up a trip.
And just like that, the Eastern Washington penalty had just expired a few seconds ago.
Which that could be looked at as a good penalty because if the Vandal didn't take Hofacker down, Hofacker had a straight breakaway on that. So it's a good penalty, even though that doesn't make sense, but that's a good one because that would have been a point-blank breakaway.
So far, of the 3 goals that Eastern scored, only the first goal scored by Trent Wells was a power play goal, despite this being the 7th power play for the Eagles, including 2 major 5-minute power plays.
You could see Mr. Thompson was going to get a warm reception from about 4 Vandals for sticking his stick on top of Wehauser on that one. I thoroughly anticipated that to happen, and I was not let down. Thompson's a gritty little player. He'll get in there.
And now the official from the other side of the ice is the one that's going to call this penalty.
That has one thing I've noticed, though. The officials, and I give them credit, they've done well, but they have major delays on when they make that call.
In a situation like that,
let it go.
Well, and I could say that I've never been an ice hockey official, but I'm not sure how the official that's within 10 feet of the net doesn't call that, but the one that's 150 feet down the ice does.
Yeah, that's a good one. We could ask, maybe we can get in a Headley up here, because last year we interviewed him up here. So where's he at today? Let's get him up for and ask about this.
Well, he was hanging out with the Cougars down in WSU yesterday, so maybe a little early.
So he's still down there in Pullman, I take it.
Now Eastern Washington 4-on-4, going to gain the blue line on the far side thanks to Frank Flood. Flood's got Tierney waiting at the near side point.
But you're totally correct on that one. That was a one.
And what a poke away goal by
Whoa.
Joel Lusk. He poked that right off of the stick of Ellis Jekyll and into the back of the net. An unfortunate bounce for the University of Idaho.
We didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. That's why I thought I bring up the officials call on that one. And Lusk just did a nice job of just staying there, and he timed it perfectly to poke it off the stick. Good heads up by him. He's a kid, Lusk is, that the points are going to come. He has so much offensive skills. His IQ is top notch, and it's good to see him starting to break out a little bit, because I could easily see him being a 20, 25-point scorer.
So that Joel Lusk's 8th goal of the season, 2nd of the day, his 21st point of the season. And with that, he actually takes the point lead on Eastern Washington, taking it over from Isaac Hood. So Joel Lusk now with 21 points on the season, Isaac Hood with 20.
But we've talked about it, Tyler, numerous times. Eastern plays extremely well a man down, because they're constantly looking at attacking, even though it's subtle. So when they go a man down, it doesn't bother them on the offensive attack. That's an excellent job by the Eagles. But I want to go back to the official thing, because on that one, if you know hockey, if you're by that goalie or do anything, there's going to be a reaction. You can just let that go. Thompson didn't do anything egregious. He just tried to poke it in a couple times, and any team's going to respond to that, so you just let them skate away.
Now here comes Keefe the other way. Over to Sam Chadwick. Hood now looking to make a pass, and it was off of the skates of Chadwick. He was trying to go in between her legs over to Jake Best on the far side. Now the puck back in front of the Zamboni corner. One-handed poke to the near side, but the first player there is going to be Gortson. Hood between his legs. He's just going to let Gortson pick that up, and now charges the player near side to Chadwick. Vandals in neutral ice. Chadwick going to wait for her team to get onto the ice, as everybody else heading back there to change. She dumped that in. Carew let it sit for a second, and she tried to chase that puck with 6 seconds left on the power play.
But, we were talking about how Easter's gelling and starting to anticipate better. That play between Hood and Best, that was another great example of it, because that wouldn't have happened in September, but they're so used to each other. And Hood just put the puck where he knew Best was going to be. It just was a little too far. It actually went off the Vandals. But that's that anticipatory skill set that Eastern has developed now.
A rare miss there from Carew, as that puck was kind of floating towards his glove and went right up over the top of it. Luckily, no harm, no foul there for Eastern Washington, and that'll be an icing with 11:54 left to play. And if you haven't picked up your Eagles Nest Showcase merchandise yet, scan that QR code right there on the screen. All sorts of different apparel available there. All with the exclusive Eagles Nest 2023 Showcase logo. Battle for the puck behind the Eastern Washington net. Back to five-a-side hockey. And here come the Eagles. They've got numbers if they want to skate. Belair on the left side. He's drawn multiple penalties this weekend. It's become a bit of a specialty for the freshman.
And it's a great specialty he's doing, too, because that has helped the Eagles out a ton this season. One thing about Belair also now I've noticed with him, like on that play there, he ran into the boards, fell down, but he got right back up and just went back into the play. And Eastern's going to get a penalty again. Did you catch what he's calling?
I believe it was an unsportsmanlike. So Wyatt Stevenson must have said something from the bench, and that's going to put the Eagles back on the penalty kill.
Now he's talking to the bench of Idaho, and he's pointing up to the scoreboard. So
this is Eastern's 11th penalty of the game. Stevenson for an unsportsmanlike.
Well, now the coaching staffs are having a little conversation back and forth with each other also. I think they took exception to the Idaho bench saying something to Stevenson.
Well, as a coach, you never want to see a player taken off of the bench and put in the penalty box. You never want to see a player in the penalty box ever, but if there's a worst case scenario, it's your player running their mouth from the bench and putting you guys in a precarious position. Up 4-1. Here comes Jake Best. He's got it on his forehand. Looks to go 5-hole. Can't stop quick enough to recover that. Had he been just half a second quicker on that stop, he would have been able to pull that back and pick his spot. But a good breakaway opportunity for Jake.
But a nice play by Wehausen. He went instantly to the butterfly and heads up play by him.
Near side to Paulson. He's going to go right out to the slot. Backhands it over to the far side. That one bounces up into the mask of Carew and knocks it right back down to the ice. 57 seconds left on the unsportsmanlike conduct minor penalty to Wyatt Stevenson.
It's been an entertaining game today. I mean, it's been pretty free flow. Eastern's done a great job on their forecheck and back checking, and Idaho's done a nice job too on their back check to clog up Eastern. So it's been a really well played game by both squads.
Puck skitters back towards the Idaho end of the ice. Jake Best, the first one there on defense for Eastern Washington, and now the Vandals dump it into the near side corner. First player there is Gortson. Best, an easy dump down the ice. He's going to give it to his brother Cole. He's going to be the first player there. He's pinned into the wall hard. And Cole hurting his wrist, taking just an extra second to get back to the bench. Action now on the other side. And the coaching staff having an issue with Idaho, or with the officials, wondering why Idaho wasn't called for that, because they skated side by side the length of the ice before Cole was planted into the boards down there. The official going to grab all of his gear and take it back to the bench. Unfortunate for Eastern Washington. And now
Jose's been busy today.
He has been. And by the way,
benches.
happy birthday to Jose.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Getting to do what he loves on his birthday. At least I'm going to assume that this is what he loves to do. Spent a lot of time here this weekend taking care of all of the teams.
He's an outstanding trainer. He really is. The kid knows his stuff.
So we've got 12 seconds of 4-on-4 time, then a minute 48 of power play time for Eastern Washington. 9:42 left in the contest. Idaho officially out shooting Wyoming from last night now, getting to 16 shots. But the Eagles have done a fantastic job of preventing really any of the teams from this weekend from getting many shots on net.
Well, Eastern has really improved their neutral game, and they've been really slowing up quite a bit of the attack, especially Wyoming was trying to work it.
And a third Idaho Vandal sent to the locker room. This time, it's Joey Vaughn.
That had to be the hit on Best then.
And it looks like
Definitely got a major.
so that's the third major penalty for the Vandals tonight. And we'll see what this one is for. But that play was a bit reminiscent of the Joel Lusk video that went viral just before the season started, where he chased a player from the far corner all the way back down basically to the eastern shoot door and blew him up.
Yeah.
Both players kind of skating the length of the ice, taking far more than the 3 strides allowed.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Another penalty coming, this time against the Vandals again. So this is worst case scenario.
Are we going to get a double penalty on there? Because the down low ref had his hand up, and then the ref up top by us, he put his hand up.
It looks like there was some jockeying in front of the net. So we'll see if they get a player from each team There was definitely a delayed penalty coming against the Vandals. Coming 10:34.
And Idaho cannot afford to keep going in the box. Sooner or later, Eastern's going to capitalize on it. You can't keep giving them a gift of being shorthanded, especially the way Eastern likes to play shorthanded. So
And Thompson is that other penalty. So these two penalties essentially going to negate each other. So it's not going to hurt Idaho anymore.
well, in a way, because they keep losing players. So if they
That
get in the box, I mean, sooner or later, it's going to take a toll on you.
Yeah, right now on Idaho's bench, only 7 players.
No.
6 players.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 players again. Players jockeying back and forth over the bench. It didn't look like they added another player for the Vandals, but there was definitely a delayed penalty coming against Idaho because Eastern had been cycling the puck for a good 20 seconds. So maybe they'll have, I guess we'll find out. Puck sent back the length of the ice, a 5-on-3 for Eastern now. And it looks like Joey Vaughn, they sent to the locker room for a check from behind. And Lusk blown up behind the net by Gortson. And now Gortson's going to head to the box for a slash.
Yeah, somehow he retaliated on that one. I didn't see Lusk doing anything, but it definitely was blatant, and that was an easy call by the officials because he did a two-hand on that one.
This one coming 11:03. So 3 players on the ice for the Vandals, 3 players in the box, 7 players on the bench, 3 players in the locker room. When they say spread out your team, I'm not sure that's quite what they mean.
No, I don't think so, but I think they gave him a rough on that instead of a slash.
Rough on that, still 2 minutes. Lusk already has 2 today, leads the team in points.
You know he wants to get that third one. You absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised if Eastern start feeding him just to get that hat trick.
So a minute, really 3 minutes and 2 seconds of 5-on-3 time for the Vandals, as when the penalty to Hagenbach expires, I believe. So that's when that last penalty clock for Gortson will start. And there was that mysterious penalty that we're not sure if it got called and they kept a player in the box. We'll find out here in about 34 seconds. Hofacker blasted back into the corner. That one close to boarding. Tierney now takes a shot. Stevenson trying to tip it, but well read by Wiehausen as that went right into his glove.
But that's why you got to like Tank. He got right up after getting blown up. That was a play. He's laboring a little bit, but that's why you got to love how Hofacker plays. This game's kind of getting a little bit chippy.
Looks like a timeout for Idaho here.
And I'm not sure if it's because Idaho's getting frustrated now because they can't solve Carew and they can't really get their offense on track because Eastern's been doing a nice job of shutting them down, especially in the neutral zone, but they're also putting so much forward check pressure on Idaho. I'm wondering if that's not what's happening right now. They're just getting really, really frustrated, Idaho.
So Sam Thompson in the box for an interference, but his penalty's not on the board anymore. So he must have gotten a 2 and a 10.
He might have had some choice words, possibly.
Well, it seems like he's still going at it with the Vandals from across the box.
Or like you always say, he's just asking him what kind of pizza they want at the barrel house.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
You know that's what's happening. You get that inside scoop down there.
Well, and there's typically there's a few panes of glass in there that separate the players in the two penalty boxes and the scorer's table. But one of those pieces of glass broke on Friday, or Thursday rather, broke on Thursday. So there's less standing in the way of the conversation here, which is good because you don't want to mess up somebody's pizza order.
No, no. Now then you could be mad.
So 8:01 left to play. The Vandals with about 2 minutes, give or take. 2 minutes, 20 seconds of 5-on-3 to kill off here. There's potentially another 2-minute penalty there. We haven't heard from the scorers table yet, but there was a delayed penalty against Idaho at one point. After a conversation, they may have waved that off.
Well, was sad about it is with all these penalties now and these delays, it really slows down the clubs, and then it takes a while for them to regroup, and so it hurts the game in a bit. But as long as the officials get it correctly, so be it. I mean, I'd rather see that than a few missed errors because they didn't take the time.
And out of the box comes Hagenbaugh. And actually, they're going to leave him in the box. And that's where that second penalty came from. So 2 minutes of 5-on-3 now. It's up top to Lusk. Lusk over to the far side to Hood. Back to Lusk. He's got two. Fires it, looking top shelf. Shouldered away by Wiehausen. Back to Lusk. Lusk on the top of the zone. On the right side. Thinks about the shot. Tries to feed it backdoor. But what a stick by Ludwig right out in front. Almost like he had a magnet on his stick there.
If he wouldn't have stopped that would have been a one-time shot goal on that. Excellent job by him.
Now Hood on the right side. He's got Belair crashing, gets it to Belair, who picks his spot and scores! Waylon Belair!
Outstanding job by Mr. Belair on that one. Hood actually looked to set him up, and then he got in tight. Belair kind of snuck down a little bit lower, took a quick shot. Wiehausen gave up the rebound, and there was Waylon Belair to pick it up. And it's great to see that because that kid is just improving game after game after game.
That is Waylon Belair's first goal as an Eastern Washington Eagle. Had 3 assists. You saw Isaac Hood trying to get him that goal on Friday. And just like that, Waylon Belair with his first goal in an Eastern Washington uniform. He'll remember that one for a while.
Oh, he will. An outstanding job by him. He actually set himself up nicely. He knew what he was going to do. Hood knew what he was going to do. And it was a bam-bam play. Wiehausen had no hope on that one. But I'm glad to see Waylon pop that goal.
Eastern trying to do it again here. Still a minute 55 left on that major penalty.
Well, that kid's been playing with confidence now. What's that going to do with that goal in there? That's going to skyrocket him another level.
Well, 6.5 minutes left. Hopefully he'll get another shift out here shortly. Bouncing puck through traffic and went just wide of the net. Now Young up top. Young over to the far side. Cole Best with it. Surveys the zone. Picks his spot from up top. Kicked away by Stevenson, or deflected rather by Stevenson's skate. And then leg padded away by Wiehausen. Casey Young back behind the net. Sees a man down the ice looking for that stretch pass. And taken away by the Vandals. Deflected towards the goal mouth. Now nobody on the far side. As Cole Best going to bring it up through the neutral zone. Cole gains the blue line. He's rubbed off right into the turnbuckle. Now a couple of Vandals standing up over the top of him. But that's going to lead to another Vandal heading to the box, I think.
And actually, the 2 Vandals that were standing over, they were over to check on him. They wanted to make sure he wasn't injured. Looks like Keefe's going in the box for it. I think he caught that. I think they're going to give
him a hold.
Yeah, well, I think he caught the padding, and that's what really made him go down on the side of the glass over there, right by the Vandals bench. I tell you, Cole Best takes a beating, but he's constantly getting back into the fray of things.
So Eastern Washington this weekend so far has an 8-2 victory over the University of Utah, a 4-0 victory last night, and today leading 5-1.
I'm not sure who the other training staff member is that came out to check on Best, along with Travis Allen, who has some training experience also. They're being real cautious right now to find out. As soon as we get word on what's going on, we'll let you know. But right now, that Cole Best is being tended to by a couple of outstanding trainers.
And Cole still down on the ice there. A hush has fallen over the arena. We're going to step away for a minute, and we will be back when this situation has been rectified. Hey, fans, those of you that are sticking around, they've called this game Cole Best on his way to a medical facility. That's all we have for now. Thank you guys for tuning in.